Cabala with the Muskegon Channel, and I'm on a very special plot of land with two very special people. This is Peter Bain.
Hi.
And Keith Johnson.
Howdy.
And we're in Northern Muskegon County. We're almost in Oceana County, but I think it's one of the most unusual homes and farms in our county, and something I think people would like to hear more about. I first met Peter and Keith about 6 years ago when they came to the area from where they were living in Indiana to do a workshop on permaculture, which these guys will explain in just a minute. They know I always fuss about the term. I'm kind of like, permaculture, that's kind of a strange term, but they'll explain. But it's really kind of a back to the land approach to living, and really one that's probably a lot more sustainable. And so I'll let them explain a little bit about what they're doing on their home and their farm.
Okay, well, thank you, Tanya. Permaculture is a long word. I agree with you, it's awkward sometimes, but it's a contraction of permanent agriculture or permanent culture. And we had to have a term because there really wasn't a sense that our agriculture was on a sustainable basis. You know, we went through the Dust Bowl in the 30s, and then people kind of, well, okay, the weather changed a little bit, and farming took off with chemicals and all that. But it really is on a pretty shaky footing, and our food systems are overdrawn and failing to nourish people as well as they should. So we're coming from a place of looking at the whole system. How does agriculture support society, and how do people live, you know, in this day and age, mostly dependent on fossil fuels, which are diminishing in availability, increasing in price, and what does the future hold? So we're trying to apply design, the idea that we can look at our environment and nature and see what the rules are, and then use those rules to build for ourselves to meet our own needs. So that's the idea behind permaculture.
And it's not merely our own needs, but our community's needs too, by relocalizing the economy and having more people get a yield from taking care of the land.
Well,
so it's not merely about sustainability, but regeneration. To build systems that actually improve themselves over time.
Well, and I like it because I've been a long time environmentalist, and I'm always looking towards how we can do things better. And I think it's clear to me, and probably a lot of other people, that we're going to have to change the way we do things. And this is one way that people who live in the city, people who live in a small town like me, people who live out on a farm like Peter and Keith, can take steps to be more local, more reliant. So they may be able to grow their own food, reduce their energy use or supply their own energy use, use water more efficiently, and there's a lot of pieces that I think people would be interested in. Maybe give an example or two of something that that you think people might be interested in, that they could do on maybe a small town plot of land.
Well, wherever people live, there are opportunities to harvest natural energies. We've had a pretty volatile spring this year. I mean, it's been rainy, and that's good for the plants, but it also has been cold. We had a very light frost on June 2nd, which surprised me a bit. And yet it didn't much affect us, because all the vulnerable plants like peppers and tomatoes that Keith has been raising to take to market were sitting out in front of the house on tables. And in the protected microclimate right near on the south side of the house, between the greenhouse and the hoop house, none of them were affected, even though the temperature fell to 32, and you would expect them all to be prostrate in the morning. That's something that you learn by observation, and then you can turn that into design. It's like, oh, the south side of the building is going to be warmer than the north side. That's why we're sitting over here on the east in the shade right now to have our interview, because it's cooler over here.
And it's why I made this a sitting zone.
Yeah, so we've designed this little impromptu patio here so we can enjoy it.
So it's observing and then using nature and the design of nature to kind of help you. Now, you guys lived in Indiana, and you put on the workshop 6 years ago. What made you come and locate in the White Lake area?
Well, I think we had a hook here with some friends who've long been long-term residents, and so we'd been visitors for maybe as much as 20 years off and on. This is not unusual. I think people come here maybe by accident or maybe because they know someone, and they like, oh, this is a pretty nice place. And it has a good small town feel. People are friendly.
At the
There's
same
a lot
time,
of
a little
decent
cosmopolitan, because people come from the big cities around.
Yeah, a lot of the summer residents are big city people, and they come from far away, and so there's always somebody interesting passing through town.
Well, it's a small town area with maybe a little bit of big city sophistication, right?
I like to think so. I mean, there's arts, there's chamber music, there's all kinds of things going on that you just wouldn't expect to find in a town of 5,000.
And we really lucked out too when we found this place. It was in the middle of the winter, it was all under snow, there wasn't a whole lot to see. We kind of knew what the soil was kind of like here, but the price was right, and so we went for it.
What, now I know you've been working on different things every year, just kind of building. What's kind of exciting that you're doing this summer?
Well, I mean, we're having another course here. You took a 4-day course with us in 2013, and we're doing a 2-week course this year, just like we did last year. So we have students coming from around Michigan and beyond.
Partly residential, with folks camping in the campground nearby.
Some folks will probably commute in from nearby. And we'll be studying permaculture and training people in the systems of design and showing the examples of here. That's something we hope we'll be able to continue.
We'd like this to be a teaching space where people can come and see and learn by example.
Well, I certainly learned. I mean, I learned that even just living in the city, I could plant food on my property. Now, granted,
even in containers, as you see by our doorway there.
Everybody can grow a little bit of their food,
yeah.
even if they're not gardeners or not green thumbs.
Just look around behind you. There's a lot of food plants here. There's blueberries and service berries.
And this is a flower garden.
This is just a flower garden, and there's more out there. There's currants and peas and all kinds of things. So your landscape could be edible.
Yeah, an edible landscape. Besides your courses, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm really excited by the prospects that are showing up from having completed an attached greenhouse.
Oh, it's really
here
great.
in the winter. I mean, we built it in last October, and then during the winter we kind of put the furnishings in it and made it work. And Keith began getting yields out of it in March when we were still, snow was falling out of the sky. So that's been very exciting. So I think that we have the possibility to do some other greenhouses just across the driveway there. And the other thing that's happening is our perennial plantings have really started to come into their own this year. And I'm very eager to see what the fruit harvest looks like. We have 43 different fruit trees out in the orchard, and 24 of them bloomed this year.
Wow, exciting.
So
a lot
that
of berries
promises,
this year too.
And the berries have already shown promise.
Well,
strawberries already happening.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of beautiful flowers, a lot of food. I think a lot of people are interested in that, growing their own food, so it's a lot healthier. So,
and we're growing for bees too, so we want flowers on hand for them.
okay.
Right.
Well, and I think certainly we'll make all of the information available, the links and things, and just wanted to say thank you very much. And to sign off is Tanya Cabala on the Muskegon Channel.